right, everybody, let's go ahead and get started with the rest of our events for the night. Just again, a couple quick announcements for all of our coaches in attendance. Tomorrow at 2 o'clock in the Gold Room, we will have a Coaches Association meeting to go over a few of the important new programs that we have going on. So we'd like to see you there tomorrow at 2 o'clock in the Gold Room. Again, just for a short meeting. Again, really exciting evening. I'd like to welcome all of you again. I'm so proud to be up here representing our Coaches Association as we get ready to acknowledge all of our great players and our outstanding coaches that just give their life to helping young men get better in all aspects. I'd like to introduce our Master of Ceremonies here, Coach John Spezia. John is past president of the Coaches Association, Hall of Fame coach at Danville College, national champion, and just a lot of wins. And so here's John.
Thanks, Joe. Can everybody hear me back in the back? Are you okay? Yeah? Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit. First of all, how many coaches' wives are here? Could you stand up, please? Coaches' wives. Go ahead. Remain standing just for a second. Everybody, coaches get all kind of claim and everything else, but the backbone of it usually is the coaches' wives, the times they spend away from all that, and late night meals and players coming over and taking care of them and listen to some of the things the coaches yelled at them and so forth. But they deserve a big round of applause. Now, before I came, my boss, my wife, said, make sure you say something nice about the coaches' wives. I will tell you a quick story. We're playing, and I don't even remember who it was, but we didn't play very well. The team played zone defense against us, and you know how that goes. We just didn't play very well. So I get in, and she says, you know what? You didn't reverse the basketball. You didn't screen inside. You didn't come across and skip pass. And your zone offense stinks. And so I said, well, I tried to explain all that. And finally I just said, hey, Nance, I said, don't you have some cookies or something to go in the kitchen and bake? And she turned around, looked at me, and she just got to the kitchen door, and she looked at me and says, I'm going to tell you something right now, because she always gets that point figure at me, and she says, I can tell you one thing, I bet my damn cookies are a hell of a lot better than your damn zone offense. With that, I do appreciate being able to do this. I have a great feel for the junior college system. I've been involved with the Coaches Association since 1984. I saw 4 casinos and hotels imploded and torn down. I'm glad they did because I didn't win any money in those places, so I'm glad they're gone. I am going to talk just a quick one about some of the other things. The coaches, I don't think any of the people realize the coaches that have toiled in this system that have gone on. And a lot of these guys don't get any recognition. We give them recognition through the Coaches Association, but some of the guys that have done this, just to give you name a few of guys, and one of them was right here at UNLV was Jerry Tarkanian, who was a junior college coach. Some of the other guys, Gene Cady coached at Purdue. You had Lute Olson, a coach at Arizona. Lute has passed away. Mark Adams was at Texas Tech, coached at Howard. I saw him win the national championship and coached the All-Star game here with Jay Crowder. Dana Altman coached at Moberly. He's now at Oregon. And this guy is close to me. They coached at Dodge City, Kansas, Daytona Beach. And you always wonder how that happens. And I guess my message to all of you, it's how you take care of people and your networking and the character you got. And he's the head coach at the University of Illinois, and that's Brad Underwood. So that tells you what kind of people you have that are coaching these kids. And people always ask me, why do you stay in this business? Because I think, obviously we don't make a lot of money. I can go through all the coaches here and they'll tell you the same thing. But we do it because of the players. Because after you get them, you're going to see them grow as people and as human beings. And then they get a chance to go on to some college. And to me, I'm a millionaire over 1 million times. And here in June, My national champion team is going to come back. They're going to be inducted to the Greater Indiana Sports Hall of Fame. And for the last probably month, we've had phone calls and talked to all of them, and that's what it's about. If you're a coach, you understand what I'm talking about. If you're a coach's wife, you understand what I'm talking about. And guys, whatever you do, when you get done, you need to thank those people because they do love you. And you may not like what they said to you sometimes, because I've had players say, Coach, I really didn't like you when I was playing for you. I said, do you think I liked your ass either? I said, now, we all love each other afterwards, and they said, I understand what you're trying to say and what points of emphasis you're doing. So keep that in mind as you go through this. Now, some of the players, and one of them is here today, and we're going to honor him, is Dante Smith. Dante played at Southeastern Illinois for a guy I know. Todd Frank was a past president also. But what I'm going to tell you is this real quickly is that there's all kind of players that have played at this level and they've gone on to play. And he got drafted out of junior college and with the Hawks. But the thing that I think none of you realize, when you leave college and you decide you wanted to have this dream of playing at the next level. Now he's going back. He's been in Venezuela, 4 years now, right? He's traveled all over the world, China, Israel. And I've done the same thing. I've coached in England. I've coached in Greece. I just coached the national team out of the islands. And it's a different ball game. You have to take care of your body because you could be there and be gone because you haven't done the right things. You may not get paid. I've seen that happen. Or you may get sent out right away. You have to take care of yourself. Whatever you're doing now, whatever you think you are, that you've got to make sure you do the extra because you won't be there very long. And blessed way it is that on this earth, we're here for a short time anyway. So keep that in mind. Just a couple other players beside him, Jay Crowder, we're going to talk about Jimmy Butler, Sean Marion, that played at Vincennes. And here's a couple of long-range guys that none of you will know. We'll see how good everybody is here before I get started. And this guy was the MVP of the Olympics, and he played at Trinidad Junior College. So if you know who I'm talking about, raise your hand. Anybody? How many people are watching Winning with the Lakers? How many watched the documentary that's going on right now? Coach, who is the guy that I'm talking about?
I don't know, but I'm watching the show.
This guy led the Olympics, came out of Trinidad Junior College, played in the Olympics, was the MVP, played with the Lakers, and he's on that show. His name was Spencer Haywood. Spencer Haywood is in the Hall of Fame, the big Hall of Fame. He's also in ours also. But keep in mind a little bit of trivia. Joe Kuhn, I appreciate Joe doing what you're doing. He just took a new job at College DuPage. He's been at Joliet for over 35 years, won a national championship. I mean, an unbelievable career. And to take time to be a college or to be a president of an association like this, it's time consuming. Along with those lines, the gentleman that has made this all possible, and this goes back, I think, about 12 years, a little bit, maybe a little bit longer, that Tom McDonald, when we got together, the time I got together, and he said, Coach, what about coming to Vegas and being with the clinic? Because it was the Nike clinic at that time. And and Joe and the rest of the coaches will tell you, it has done nothing but great things for the Coaches Association, for the players. We got junior college coaches who are on video. Where's Joe? Joe, how many videos do you have up with Championship Productions?
A few.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's been a great thing to do. And Tom is the guy and his staff, Eric and that whole group. What I'd like to do, I know Tom's not here, his daughter's graduating from college. And what I'd like to do for all of you is just give him a big hand. I know he's not here. Okay, so we want to get started here. The All-Star players, I want to talk about them just briefly. I'm going to introduce those guys. I believe that we'll start with the coaches, right, Joe?
Players.
Yep.
Players.
Players, here we go. Now, if I mispronounce your name, forgive me, because Joe and I went through this. We're not English majors. We're physical education majors, so.
We're going to have the players, when you come up, we'll just have you stand off on the side so we get a picture afterward.
Okay, starting with the Division I guys. DeJuan Grimes. DeJuan is from Kilgore, Texas. Josiah West from southeastern Iowa. Dane Prime. Dane is from Western Wyoming. From John A. Logan, Sean East. From Lansing Community College, I think, is Mike here? Mike Ingram's here, right? Mike, where you at? Mike Ingram's one of our Hall of Fame coaches also. He's here with Drew Lauder. From Northeastern Oklahoma, Brian Moore Jr. From Indian River State College in Florida. Now, AJ, now you're going to have to help me on this last pronunciation because even Joe couldn't figure this one out. Where are you at, AJ? Kazik? Kazook? Okay. Come on up. Joe, we got it wrong.
You got it wrong.
McLennan Junior College, Chris Pryor. From down on the border, Mexico side, really across in Arizona, Cochise, Arizona, Jay Rogers. From Indian Hills up in Iowa, Johnny Hadley. From Lake Region State in North Dakota, Clarence O. Daniels II. From out of the Chicagoland area in Triton Junior College, Pat Sumnick. And from Kilgore, Paul, you're going to have to help me with this one. Where you at? Go ahead. Oh, Tino. We got that one right. And the coaches of the All-Star team.
We're going to get a picture with all these.
Okay.
You guys can just bunch together.
While he's waiting, the games will be live streamed also. So if you've got some friends or family that they're not able to watch them play, keep that in mind. And our all-star coaches for Division I, Brian Holwick from Kilgore and John Meeks. All right, we're going to go into the Division II and III All-Stars. Jayden Grays from Des Moines Area Community College. From Genesee in New York, Jalen Wills. From Davidson Davie, Javon Jones. That should be Javen Jones. Thank you.
1 second.
Got it. From South Suburban, the number 1 team and undefeated, Demarco Miner.
May's getting through.
While he's doing that, players, I will need to.
Play for Bacati, could do it.
I will need to visit with you because I need to find out where you're going to go to college. That'll be all announced tomorrow at the All-Star game because I'll do the announcing for the All-Star game also. Gohari Adeje Harvey from Queensboro, New York. Sorry. From Sullivan County, Kareem Welch. From Cecil Community College, Caleb Gates. From Atlantic Cape, David Coit.
He's not here.
He's not here? Spencer Symes from Dallas Eastfield in Texas. From Dallas North Lake, Gregory Crawford. From Rock Valley Community College, Alexei Markovic. From Kirkwood Community College, Deshaun Anderson. That's it with the players?
Yeah, we're gonna get a picture real quick.
Yep.
Same thing if you got some lunch together.
Now, it's always good to see another fellow Italian to be in this business. Without anything to say, a guy that's undefeated, wins the national championship, and did a great job. Actually, he was very calm the whole tournament. No, I'm not telling the truth. John Pagatti. John, you just need to stay up here. That's the first time those two guys hugged each other first, by the way. All right, this is a special award. This is a very, very special award from the NABC Coaches Association. John Pagatti was chosen as the Junior College Coach of the Year. Let's give John a big hand. His team was undefeated, won the national championship. I've known John a long, long time. He's one of these guys. He goes a mile a minute, and that's the way his players play. With that being said, the National Player of the Year is one of his players, Demarco Miner. Demarco, come on up. Hall of Famers.
just read them off.
Division I Player of the Year in the NJCAA comes from John A. Logan, Sean East. Joe. Division III Player of the Year, Gregory Crawford. Gregory from Dallas North Lake. Division II NABC, I just want to mention this, is Demarco Miner, and he was also Division II Player of the Year. Demarco, that's 2 different awards. And he just took a new job, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Division I job. He's been a tremendous basketball coach at Division III level. I had a pleasure to talk to him. It's been many years ago. I don't know if he reminds me. We used to have the the clinic and the I've not always had this Hall of Fame banquet here. It's always been different places. And this gentleman is one of the best around that I know of, and I know we've all talked about. He is Division III coach there, and that's Tim Mcgraw. Okay, we'll start with the Hall of Famers. Oh, I got it. This guy, I guess I had the misfortune of coaching against him. And he is one of the top coaches again in the country. Coached at Johnson County. Won the national champ. I think he's won 2 national championships, if I'm not mistaken. I may misdo that. He had over 550 wins, 19 win seasons, and 3 in the Jayhawk. Coach of the Year 2 different times. He's retired now. Again, not only was he a good basketball coach, but he was a good person. I know he's overcome some things here physically that he's enjoying retirement, and that's Mike Jeffers.
John, I'm going to let him do his speech and then.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I guess this is my time to speak. First, I'd like to thank the Coaches Association for putting on this event, being elected to the Hall of Fame. It's taken me a long time to get here, 42 years of coaching, 2 years in retirement through the pandemic, and was in the class of 2020 and waiting on this event, and it's finally here. Very humbled to be here and be elected to the Hall of Fame. As Coach Spezia alluded to earlier, I want to recognize all the other Hall of Fame inductees tonight, the All-Star coaches, the All-Star players, Coach Pagatti, I was fortunate in '09 to be named the NABC Coach of the Year after a national championship. But winning at the college level is so hard. Playing the game, I've always said, is easy because you can pass, shoot, dribble. There's not much else you can do with a basketball. But winning is hard. And what Coach Pagatti did this year at South Suburban, and I think every college coach, any coach at any level will tell you that winning a championship is hard, and going undefeated is all. I can't even wrap my brain around that. I coached for 42 years, and I think our best record ever was like 33-3 or something like that. But, you know, I want to give a shout out to Coach because I've coached against his teams, I've watched his teams coach, and he definitely is a deserving coach of his awards this year. Like I said, I coached 42 years, 2 years at the high school level, 7 years as a Division I assistant coach, and 33 years as a junior college head coach. During that time, I didn't get here by myself. I want to thank our administration of the 5 schools I coached at along those ways. 2 specifically, the junior college institutions I was fortunate enough and lucky enough to coach at, Bruton Parker Junior College, and then Johnson County Community College for the last 29 years of my career. I want to thank all my former coaches. I'm not going to name everyone because over 42 years there's a lot of coaches, a lot of players. But I want to thank all my former coaches, my former players that helped put me here on this night because I would not be here without them. I want to thank also my parents. They're both deceased. I know they're looking down on me now. They're smiling, and it's a tremendous honor to have been their son. My 2 sons are here tonight, Stephen, my oldest, and his wife Brittany, my youngest son Chris, my brother Reggie, and his fiancee Holly. Coaches get to where we are because of family and because of, I think Coach had the wives stand, coaches' wives. I want my wife to stand, Debbie, just for a quick second and give a shout out to her and a round of applause. And I'll say this probably for the last 29 years, especially at Johnson County Community College, if you saw me at a high school game, you were in any of our games, or you saw me on the road, you probably saw her with me. We started out together almost 44 years ago, 42 years of coaching, 2 years of retirement. You do the math. We were 21 years old when we got married. We had no idea what we were doing. I don't think she'd ever, when I met her in college, I don't think she'd ever even seen a basketball game. She's from South Georgia, so she knew all about football, but I don't think she knew much about basketball. And but she learned along the way. Like I said, I started 42 years of coaching. I was, we go back, so far that I was a 21-year-old head high school coach at 21 years old. And believe me, I had no idea what I was doing. And she was right there keeping the book. Tom McDonald, if he was here, he'd tell you, national tournament. Coach will tell you, she's sitting there, my seat, the scores table's right there. That's where she sat keeping our book. She was so involved with our program. And I can literally say, honestly, I would not be here today without her. Coach alluded to I had some health issues back in 2014. My cardiologist said, hey, your heart's great, but you've got a bad valve in that heart you need to have replaced. And I went in for open heart surgery. Coached 2 games that year. They said, oh, you'll be out a couple of months and then be back by January. Well, I had a couple of complications along the way, medications, things like that, and I missed the whole season. I was in the hospital for 9 days straight. She was there every second, every minute, except for 2 hours. She spent the entire 9 days with me at the hospital. And nursing and doing a lot of things nurses had to do, and hospitals and even now healthcare, they're so short staffed. Taking me to the bathroom, helping with showers, and basically making sure I made it through and came out on the other side. Stephen and Brittany have our 2 grandchildren in Atlanta. We're still in Kansas City. June's 5, Michael's 3. I watch them raise their kids and see what they go through with their kids. And I think back to when we started in 1978 and then how it 1980. I was a grad assistant at Georgia Southern, and then we started having kids. And back then there was no internet, there were no cell phones. We ran off our playbook on an old mimeograph, blue sheet paper, and you ran the thing and printed everything off. And you eyeballed every player. I was gone a lot to establish my career. We evaluated players in person, eyeballed them, watched them play, went to high school games. If I was ecstatic if I could go to a Christmas tournament or a Thanksgiving tournament and see 4 games in one day. And now you have events where you go see 500 players in a couple of days. In the summer, some of these AAU events are in the spring. So, she's been there the whole time with me, and I can truly say that I wouldn't be here without her. I think in life and players, you need to kind of look around and appreciate where you are. The biggest mistake that we can make is assuming we have more time, okay? Because this is the moment you live for. Go out there tomorrow, play that game. I was lucky enough to have coached in this All-Star game. I'm glad to see that I did it when it was in Odessa, and now they've got the game, the Hall of Fame, everything together in one spot, and I think that's great to have this event here together, all together, players, coaches, Hall of Fame. Committee does a great job. I'm just excited that I've got a chance to be here and experience this. Live for the moment. Look around you. Enjoy the moment. Because at some point in time, you're going to look back and go, I still think like I'm 21 years old, and I'm almost 66. And that's how fast time will fly. Days are long, years are short. And as you get older, you'll learn to appreciate that. I've been lucky in my life, and my wife is always quick to correct me and go, no, you haven't been lucky, you've been blessed. When things happen, don't say you're lucky. That's a blessing. Okay? So I'm thankful. I thank God for all my blessings in my life, and because I know I'm so undeserving, but I am so thankful. Amen. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Brian Wright. I'm the head basketball coach at Kilgore College. I have the privilege. First of all, I guess I'd like to say congratulations to all the players that are in here tonight, all the Hall of Fame inductees tonight. Anytime you can put yourself in elite company, I think you need to feel very proud about what you've accomplished, the things that you've gone through to reach the goals that you've got or to reach the status that you're at right now. And so congratulations to each one of you. I have the privilege of introducing Mike Marquis this evening. It's good for me. Mike is a great friend. Our friendship started about 14 years ago when I entered Region 14, and it's been ongoing ever since. We've shared a lot of laughs. We've shared a lot of games. He's beat me quite a bit. So I noticed he's got 697 wins. So I'm glad I'm not on his schedule early next year. I really don't want to be number 700. But our friendship does go back a long time. Kilgore and Tyler may be one of the longest running rivals in the history of the NJCAA. It's been around a long time. There's a lot of history behind it, a lot of good. Some of it probably a lot of good general competition. But Mike and I have remained friends. We've got a great view and a look at what our region should be and what the NJCAA should look like. And so we spend a lot of time on the phone and we talk quite a bit. And he is truly a steward in the game of basketball. He's a mentor, he's a leader, and he shares that with the coaches and the players that he comes in contact with. He continues to do a great job of turning his players into great dads, great husbands, people that will represent their community well, and people that will have great careers beyond the basketball that they spend playing for him. So as time goes, or I guess at this point, I'm going to let Mike talk. I do want to say this as he comes up. Just congratulations to Chris, to Mitch, and to McCade and Michelle. I know you guys are behind him every step of the way and good friends with our family. So congratulations on the Hall of Fame to your dad and your husband. And it's your mic. Mike and I talked about this, and I was going to roast him for a little while, but he gets the last 5 minutes, and I know better than to start something that I don't get to finish with him. So we're going to leave it at that. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. I have no idea who that guy is. No, thanks a lot. We have a special relationship, and I appreciate it. It's an honor to be announced by you today, too, as well. So I'm not going to do my resume. I've read it. It's not that big a deal. So I want to say thanks to my family for being here. They all agreed to let me bring them out here from Texas, and I appreciate that opportunity to do that very much. So they have been my complete support group forever. My wife, Chris, absolutely wonderful. I don't know if I'm a good coach or not, but she made me one heck of a lot better person, and has done that for our whole time together. And she's helped raise a great family. My old son, Mitch, is my assistant, has been for a long time. He's responsible for a whole lot of All-Americans that have played for us over the last several years and has done a great job with that. And my daughter, Michelle, brand new mom, got a year-old Renly, and her husband are here as well. Kobe, we appreciate them being out here with that. And my son, McCade, was a lot of fun to be around. That guy has never met a stranger in his life. He's just got that kind of great personality. And then our special guest, Hannah and Bethany, are here also. So thank you so much for being here tonight, too. So just real quickly, I want to thank the committee for this. This is an honor that I cannot put into words. I started coaching in junior college as a head coach at 21. So I've seen a lot, and almost all of it's good. And those are all things that we always try to remember. So this has been very special for us. Like Coach said, it seems like it's been forever to get here after the announcements and the COVID and all that. So it was still great opportunity. So proud of the players in the room and how much you've got to look forward to, not just for the game, but your futures. And I know I probably could just stand up here and say I coached Jimmy Butler and sat back down, and that would probably been enough. But he's disappointed he couldn't be here, but he'll have things to say about it later on his own. But he obviously is in the playoffs right now doing well. But I'd like to thank all the players who played for me. None of us would be in here as coaches without having players that were dedicated to us, loyal to you, playing the best that they could, trying to win games, going through tough losses. None of that has much to do with this. It's all the relationships after they grow. After they go on, you never forget all those sorts of things and those times, those moments. That's what means more to me than winning a junior college game or losing a junior college game. It's just, can you be with them and be there for them when they need you? And then sometimes you need them, and they're there for you too. So I always appreciate those opportunities with that. And then the last group, I'd like to thank all the administrators I work for. This has been a tough week for me. I promised myself I wasn't getting emotional. I played at Marshalltown Community College, yes, the Marshalltown Community College, and I got to play for a man named John Renner. He was a wonderful, wonderful man. And way back, this was the guy that was a champion for Title IX before they even had Title IX. And he was a wonderful man, and he passed away last week, which was tough. He didn't know that we got in this, and his wife died 3 days later. And that's been really tough on our family because we were all so close and had stayed close with him. And then also got to be around some wonderful people at Indian Hills, and some are still there, but a lot of them are gone. And then Dr. Hellier also passed away recently, who was a legend in that area, but also junior college, because he helped build that into one of the greatest programs in junior college history. So tough times when you go through those, which makes this time even better. Then I couldn't work at a better place. Tyler Junior College is unbelievable. The people are great. The facilities are wonderful. The attitude is right for what's right about junior college athletics. So it's been an absolute honor to work at Tyler Junior College and continue there. So I want to get off this. That's enough about this. So I can't thank you everyone enough. I mean, this is just a tremendous honor, and hopefully I can represent us well. Thank you.
So I could, I guess, get up here and read the bio on Coach Stone, but you've got that in front of you. Just a little snippet from his career. He's won more games in Midland College history than any other coach, including a national championship in 1982. For those basketball players, maybe some coaches more so. He's coached some guys you may be familiar with, guys like Mookie Blaylock and Spud Webb. But outside of that, one of the things just reading the bio tonight that I think stuck out with me, and staying a little bit on the tenet that Brian brought up about Coach Marquis, is a thought from a recent book that he wrote called Save Them All, that was the basis for his career. And in my first meeting tonight, I felt like was evident as well. As much as we as coaches focus on attention to detail in the game, our greater focus and attention should be on the detail in the lives and the future of players. It's my honor to welcome to the stage 2021 NJCAA Hall of Fame inductee, Coach Jerry Stone.
You bet, thank you. This has been my observation. Can you hear me? You gotta put it right up here, don't you? Okay, well, take a look, that's it. You know, junior college has meant so much to me. I was raised in Kansas, in Ark City, Kansas, which is just south of Hutchinson, and I used to attend all those national tournament games when I was small, and I played in that gym. My high school was in the same conference as Hutchinson High School, and and I have relatives there, and I stayed there in the summer as a kid, so Hutchinson has always been great. And you know, when you coach 42, that 42 is a big number tonight, but that's how long I coached. When you coach that long, all of us receive awards every now and then, and they're nice. But when Tom called me about 5 months ago, I said, "Are you sure you got the right guy?" Now I'm past 79. I'll tell you that. I won't go any further. But I'm thinking, I figured they thought I was dead, and they wanted to know where the funeral was. And but it really got me, because it suddenly made me realize how wonderful it is to get an award like this. And so I feel very honored and humble just being here. But you know, when I was about the fourth grade, I knew I wanted to coach, and literally I did. And it was because I had two outstanding coaches. One of them was a volunteer coach, and another one was a great coach who could have gone anywhere. But we happened to have him right there in Arkansas City, Kansas. I don't know how we had him, and I don't know why they didn't leave, but they didn't. And I had him for years. And so I got to observe coaches and talk to coaches for years. Now, my friends, as I was growing up, thought I was crazy. You're going to go talk to that coach again? Well, you know, like you're trying to get on the good side or something? No, I want to know what he did on that zone offense the other night or something. What? You know, so I've always had my heart in basketball, and you can verify it by anybody who was ever around me. But yeah, I never regretted it, and there's a lot of people I can thank, and I just want to pick out two or three tonight, because you don't want to hear about all these other, but they're just like anybody else. You always have somebody saying you can do it. The best two supporters I've ever had are my two daughters, and you're going to have to stand up. I know this is a challenge. Stacy, stand up. That's Stacy, and then Marcy. Very good. Okay. And they were the one, Stacy's from Minnesota and Marcy's from Houston. And those are the two that call you in the wee hours, how you doing, Dad? And, you know, I'll talk to them, but I don't want to talk to anybody else maybe, but they never go away. And as you get older, see, there they are. As you get older, you love them more and more. You know, that's like a lot of us men. We don't ever figure it out until we get to about 60 or something, right? But anyway, I want to thank them. I want to thank a lot of people. Jerry Hernshire is here. You just get to put your hand up here. He was an athletic director for me at Cameron University, one of 11 schools I coached at, and he helped me a lot when things were good and bad. So, and I appreciate him being here. But, you know, I'm not going to say much more except that I like to talk to players. I love to talk to players. And junior college players were always my favorite because you had them just at the right time. They were young and cocky, but they still deep down didn't think they knew everything. Even though they tried to act that way, they didn't know everything. And if you could get through that first semester, and that was always rough, first time away from home and all that, but you could have a team. And we always had, admittedly, we got it established early, and we had some really good teams, and they were united, and we were hard to beat. And that's what made it enjoyable. And so I need to thank the players above all, and I had some really good ones, some famous ones, but they were all, the ones that call me now, as much as anybody, are the guys who are on the end of the bench. I figure they're going to cuss me out or something. And they just go on and on because they saw the overall picture. They saw that they were treated fairly, and there was a real team feeling, real family feeling, and that's what makes coaching worthwhile. Anything else is a grind, and it's a grind anyway. But it's really a grind if you don't have that feeling of, I can't wait to get up there and see what we can learn today. So I appreciate that. The players that are here, someday, I wish I had $1 for as many times as a player came to me at the end of his sophomore year and said, Coach, you think there's any way they'll make this school a 4-year school? You know, and they didn't want to leave. And some of them were going to pretty big schools. And when I recruited junior college players after I was at different Division II schools, I noticed that I would go to a junior college in the spring, and it might be a little old rinky-dink town and everything else, and every one of them loved their school, and they didn't talk bad about it or anything. So junior college is the biggest secret, I think, in basketball. There's so many good things going on in junior college, but we don't get the publicity, and for whatever reasons, you know, like the old deal where, well, he could always go to junior college. That's what, you know, I go, no, wait a minute. No, I try to correct any parent. Well, we're thinking about just letting him go to junior college. And I said, you know who was at my junior college last year? You know, and they have no idea. You know, 2 of them are in the NBA right now. Well, they have no idea. So even when they talk on TV, they always say he's a junior college player that went to the University of whatever. Why don't you say the junior college's name, please? Because those junior college coaches are washing the laundry a lot of times. They're driving the bus. They're doing everything. And they're not getting paid too much. So I have a lot of respect for them. And I know this. I would rather coach against somebody that hasn't coached in junior college than somebody that has. The guy that's been in junior college knows what he's doing. I'm not talking about technique so much. He knows what the real world is. And some of those guys you hear on TV telling you about everything, some of them never coach, and they certainly have never coached at Ranger, Texas, or whatever. And I love Ranger, Texas. But it's just a whole different world. And boy, if you can get through it, though, you come out a lot stronger, a lot wiser. And I will stop right here, and I appreciate it. I hope I get to talk to you later on, and don't go near those tables now, guys. All right, thank you very much. Is that yours? Did I bring that up? Okay. Thank you.
You know, the one thing Coach just said that I think is so true, he talked about how players later, their junior college was their favorite stop. And I think for a lot of players here, you will understand that a little bit later. I know that's been probably for all of us coaches that have talked with former players, and they like their junior college, coach and program the best. So thank you, Coach. I have the pleasure of introducing one of my best friends in coaching, Tim Mcgraw from North Lake, Texas. I met Tim at the national tournament in 2008, and I had the pleasure of losing to him in the national championship game. And, at that point, it was amazing how a friendship developed, and we stayed in contact. And Tim is one of the most humble human beings I've ever met. 2008, he beats me in the national championship, and he called me on the phone. He said, "Hero boy." That's what he calls Hero boy. I would like for you to coach in the All-Star game. I've done it already, and you're going to take my place in it. And just a great friend, a better person. 25 years at North Lake, Division III junior college coach. I know you guys that coach D1 and D2 don't understand D3. And D3 is a whole nother animal in itself. 25 years is like 50 years. Tim plays the toughest schedule in the country, if not the toughest and the second toughest of anybody at our level. Year in, year out. He doesn't care who he plays, where he plays them. He goes and plays them. And the result of that is 7 national tournament appearances and 4 national championships. And my goodness, to win 1 is a hell of an accomplishment, and Tim's won 4 of them. With that said, Tim, I'm gonna tell one little story about you. Tim Mcgraw, everybody knows country music, right? And I'm teaching in class, and we're teaching about categorizing. And this is back when we had iPods, so I asked the students, how would you organize your music? And so they put by genre. And all right, so in that, how would we organize it? And then, by musician. And somebody said country music. And I said, all right, who would we put in there? And the kid said, Tim Mcgraw. And I said, holy smokes. I talked to Tim Mcgraw last night. And they're like, no, you didn't. So I pulled up my phone, and sure enough, Coach and I had spoke the night before. And they said, he did talk to Tim Mcgraw. One of my favorite stories about him, but absolutely great coach and humble man, Tim Mcgraw.
Okay, my dad's a Baptist preacher, so I learned for long sermons. So good news for you, that's not going to happen. But you've heard a lot of good things already tonight. As I look around the room, it's just memories everywhere. Coaches that have beat me, coaches that we somehow won against. Where's Coach Marquis? He mentioned Jimmy Butler. Okay, he didn't tell the whole story about Jimmy Butler. A week earlier, we'd had a player from Tomball, Texas, and he did real well for us. So his high school coach calls me up and says, "Hey, I've got this kid that's really good, and nobody's on him." So I call this guy named Jimmy Butler, and, "Oh, don't you want to come be a non-scholarship junior college player?" And a week later, Coach Marquis gives the kid a full scholarship, and now he's an NBA All-Star. So it's all to your credit. You made him. So this is very special to be here. Coach Kuhn is very special. We've had, we're non-scholarship junior college. There's about 100 of us. And so that means, well, you can understand what that means. But anyway, it's definitely a hard journey. This summarizes the best of all. An hour after we won our national championship in Rockford, Illinois, in March, I'm in the laundry room at the motel washing the uniforms to get ready for a 7 a.m. flight the next morning. So that summarizes junior college at the Division III level. Now the memories, or the numbers that mean the most to me, is this: is 87 wins that we had against scholarship schools. And the way we could get those kids motivated, we tell them about these guys, they got everything taken care of, and you don't have anything, and they get all excited. And so 87 wins. Another number that means a lot to me is 104 guys who played for us and moved on to four-year universities. And that's a tremendous thing. And this last number that I want to talk about is very special to us, and it summarizes our program. Over 90% of the players we've had continued on at four-year schools. Now, they didn't all play on the team where they went, but they continued on with their education, and that's a number that's very important for us. I've got my special group here, all the way from Wooten, Wyoming. We got my sister-in-law and brother-in-law, Diane and Paulville Robertson, and I've got my sister Linda and Ted, and they got the best basketball name, Shoots. How's that for a last name? And I've got my grandson. He's my retirement plan. I'm going to put him in the NBA, so that's my retirement plan. We're still working on his handles, but he never hears that, do you, Katie? And my dear wife, 42 years. She has been here all the way through it, doing the scorebook, and she could do it for as long as we've been doing it. She had the best player imitations you could ever imagine. So when I needed a laugh, she would pull one right out, and she really put on the show. And she really had so many times. I wish I had. How come you cannot get those guys that make free throws? Like, I don't know either. So anyway, she's been very special. That's my wife Denise, 42 years, been with me all the way through this journey. And so anyway, you guys have heard a lot of good points made by coaches tonight. I had a bunch written down for you. Guess what? You're not going to have to listen to it because you already heard some good things. Anyway, thanks so much. I've really enjoyed this very much.
I'm Joel Wooten from Southeast Community College in Nebraska. I just met Dante tonight. I read his bio and did all that kind of stuff. And one of the things that hit me was how dedicated he's been for all the places he's been and survived it. And one of the things that he said when we were sitting there talking tonight was how much self-discipline it took to get through all the things that he's gone through. That's amazing. And that tells you a lot about junior college players. Dante came from Louisville, Kentucky. He played his junior college basketball at Southeastern Illinois, and he was lucky enough to play for Hall of Fame coach Todd Franklin. He was an NJCAA Division I All-American, first-team player. He helped the Falcons to back-to-back Division I tournament appearances, finishing 7th in 2003 and 4th in 2004. Dante was going to go play for a pretty famous guy, Rick Pitino, at Louisville, and he decided to take his chance and go into the NBA draft instead. And and he entered the 2004 NBA draft, where he was drafted in the second round by the Atlanta Hawks. He played there for 2 seasons before playing for the Arkansas Rimrockers. You got to love those D-League teams. Their names, those are awesome. They come up with some of the best names of all the places. He continued on after there to find the right fit, the right spot for him to keep playing basketball. He's played at lots of different places like Israel, China, Australia, just to name a few. Can you imagine going to all those places and having to learn different languages and different cultures and all that different stuff, and try to play basketball? And the way that they play basketball would be a whole lot different. He still plays today. I'm going to tell you how old, because he told us how old he is. He's 38 years old and he's still playing pro ball. That's pretty amazing. In the Venezuelan League, the Venezuelan Super League, he's played on their national team, which is a pretty big deal. Dante's dedication to the NJCAA set the pace for student athletes today to strive to play at the next level. You know, I haven't met a junior college player. I've been coaching 18 years, and I haven't met a junior college player yet that didn't think they wanted to play pro ball, at least when they started. Every one of them. And here's a guy that's done it. He's done it at different levels. He's done it at all kinds of places. Like I said, pretty dedicated guy to go through all the things that he's done. 2020, 2021 NJCAA Hall of Fame inductee, Dante Smith. Are you giving me this now? Oh, me. Okay. Sorry.
Well, I'll make this as short as possible because all the other guys they're coaches, so they're used to talking, and I'm used to listening to them. So I didn't prepare anything, so here goes nothing. I want to thank the committee for this tremendous award for me. I've won 7 professional championships overseas, a couple MVPs, and this by far takes the cake for me. As a player, I never even dreamed of playing junior college, and to be inducted into Hall of Fame it's mind-blowing for me, as it's kind of choking me up a little bit. But yeah, thank you guys. To my family who's unable to be here because my son's birthday was yesterday, so they said I'm used to being by myself, so I'll be all right this time. So to them, thank them for their support, and to my coach, Todd Franklin, who's unable to be here, thank you for everything, for taking a chance on me, a kid that didn't have many offers coming out of high school, from molding me to become the player that I am today. I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for everything that he's done, and thank you guys for this award. Thank you.
How y'all doing tonight? I'm Tim Sanques. I'm the head coach at Kirkwood Community College in Iowa. Before I have the pleasure of introducing our class of 22 inductee, there's 2 guys that couldn't make it tonight that were also selected in the class of 22. They're a little busy right now, so you guys might have heard about them. Jimmy Butler and Jay Crowder will also be in this 22 class. So. Coach Depew, a long resume. Hopefully you got the chance to read it. I'm just going to highlight a few things from him. I've had the pleasure to get to know Chris a little bit, serving on the committee. First time we got to meet in person, it was this weekend. We've seen each other over Zooms for the last 4 or 5 months or so. So a couple accomplishments for Coach. He's a head coaching record of 243-36. He had an 87% winning percentage from 2000 to 2009. During his head coaching career, he averaged 27 wins per year. In 2007, like Coach Bagatti this year, his group went undefeated, 32-0, captured the national championship. He was the 2007 D3 NJCAA D3 Coach of the Year, along with his many coaching accolades. He served and continues to serve the NJCAA in many roles. He has held various leadership positions on our committee. He's been a past president. He's helped select many Hall of Fame candidates throughout these years on that committee. He's also been on the NJCAA Board of Regents and has served on the NJCAA D2 and D3 basketball committees. And he's a former NJCAA student athlete himself. Please join me in welcoming the Class of 22 inductee, Coach Chris Depew.
I know it's been a pretty long night, so I'll be as quick as I can. I am the last one, so that's pretty good. So I got to tell you, as I was putting some words together to kind of get here tonight, I'm a little bit in awe. You just heard what Tim just shared about the 2022 Hall of Fame class. To be standing here in the same class as Jimmy Butler and Jay Crowder is a little bit intimidating, even as a coach that had the opportunity to have some success while he was on the court. I had the pleasure, believe it or not, when I was the second vice president of the association, I gave Jay his National Player of the Year award right here on this stage in this event. So I'm pretty proud of those guys. Never had the opportunity to meet Jimmy, but as I listened to some of the coaches here tonight, some of the accomplishments are just, they're out of sight, and I'm just blessed to be in that conversation. So, many of us get in this profession to make a name for ourselves. Some have early success, and then try to work our way to that, all the way up the chain to that dream job. But I never realized when I became the head coach at Sullivan Community College in New York that I had already found it. Every time an opportunity came my way, every chance I had to move on, I realized that Sullivan was exactly where I wanted to be. I love what we do, and I love the opportunities that we provide, and I couldn't imagine myself anywhere else all these years later. When I was given the opportunity to take over our storied program from my brother and dear friend Will Brown, never did I ever expect that 24 years later, I'd still be doing what I can to make the experience of being a Sullivan General something our players and fans would never forget. I entered a crossroads in 2007 when we had a season for the ages. As we've heard a few times tonight, Coach Pagatti, if you remember, I walked up to you right after your championship and I said, Coach, welcome to the club. That was not only winning a national championship, but to that exclusive group that had the opportunity to do it while being undefeated. I know the pressures of what you went through to go on a run like that, never having a bad night, never taking a day off, and day in and day out expecting, demanding, and getting the very best out of your team. Congratulations to you, my friend. I know how difficult that was to achieve. After our historic run in 2007, I had a decision to make. Did I want to coach for the rest of my career and see where that takes me? Or did I want to focus on being the administrator that I always wanted to be and follow that professional path? The caveat I always knew is I'd never get my fingers out of basketball. That was just in my blood. So I made a decision. I brought in a coach. I co-coached him for a year, and then I started my new path of athletic administration at a level I hadn't been able to focus on while I was both the AD and the head coach at Sullivan. So then I thought, so what exactly do I do with all my brand new spare time? Since we had so much success over the years at the NJCAA Division III tournament in Delhi, and Delhi deciding that they were going to step down after 20 years hosting that tournament, I wanted to bring that tournament to Sullivan and do whatever necessary to show people that what we do and have here in Loch Sheldrake, New York, is special. We wanted to put on a first-class event to ensure that we do it at a level that people will remember and be thankful for. With the help of a very dedicated group of volunteers and staff, we hosted the NJCAA Division III tournament 8 times up until we made the decision to transition to Division II in 2018. I think everyone that stepped in our facility would say that we went over and above to make it special for all involved. Secondly, I became extremely active in the Coaches Association. I would have never have expected the level of professionalism, wisdom, and mentorship that came with my involvement. Mentors and incredible coaches that I now call dear friends. Coach Flax, Coach Spezia, Coach Kuhn, Coach Franklin, Coach Wooten, Coach Pilcher, Coach Christensen, Coach Schumacher, and certainly, as you've heard a few times tonight, my dear friend Tom McDonald, who without him, none of what we're doing right now is possible. We put a great deal of time over the past 15 years doing everything in our power to move NJCAA basketball forward as a brand. Thank you for all of your guidance, each and every one of you, your insight, your connections, and your networks. We have made enormous progress. We now have a seat at the table and are ensuring that our athletes are provided with amazing opportunities. I look forward to our continued work, not only with this event, but as you heard a little earlier from Coach Kuhn, but new and exciting events and opportunities on the horizon because of the work that's been done. You've heard this a few times already tonight. I'm incredibly blessed and incredibly thankful for everyone I've come across during my career as a coach and an administrator. My family, my wife Heather, and my son David, and my mom Penny are here with us tonight. Thank you, Mom, for your love and support, providing me with every opportunity I could ever possibly need to be successful. She's one of the strongest women I know. My dad passed away about 9 years ago from cancer. He was our hero, and it's been a tough road for our family, and especially for her. He was not only our hero, he was a hero in our community, and I work every day to make him proud, and I hope that I do. Heather and David, you've been by my side every step of this journey. That young man right here, my son, attended his first college basketball game, as we say it, down in the bunker of the Paul Geary Fieldhouse, the home of the four-time NJCAA national basketball champion Sullivan Generals, at the ripe old age of 3 days old. He can count on one hand how many games he's missed since then, which is just amazing. I'm so thankful he's here with me tonight. He played football, basketball, and baseball at a really high level in high school, and much of his junior and senior year being ripped away by COVID, much like many of you here tonight. But he's now with me at SUNY Sullivan on full baseball scholarship. His team qualified, believe it or not, last weekend to play in the East District Championships this week. They actually played today. He made the decision to be here, and I'm really thankful, buddy, that you're here. I love you. My wife, Heather. We've been all over the country, up, down, back and forth. You've been in gyms where they made you sit in the front row right behind our bench because we were not quite sure what was going to happen during the course of a game, to as big of arenas as we're in tonight, and I could always hear you no matter where you were, defense, defense, until you couldn't speak at the end of the game. We couldn't even have a conversation. She went from knowing not very much about basketball to being an expert pretty quickly, telling me which players should be playing and who I should stop yelling at during timeouts. You've been there every step of the way, and you've had my back since day one. She was never really into sports growing up, but when we decided to make our life together, she immediately became team mom, counselor, mediator, chef, and friend to everyone that came through our program. And if you ever had the chance, and we just talked a little bit before with Coach Mcgraw, if you've ever had the chance to come to our national tournament, Loch Sheldrake, you know her cooking. She made every piece of food that went through that hospitality room, always with a smile. I love you, baby. Thank you. This is an honor that I thought out of reach. This is for people that are super special in our profession. Each year I listen to these speeches, and even tonight, listen to some of the gentlemen before us. I'm just in awe of the accomplishments, and I'm incredibly blessed just to be in this conversation. Using an often used quote from a man that gave me my National Coach of the Year award in 2007 here in Vegas at the top of the stratosphere, and all of his Twitter posts, how lucky are we to be basketball coaches? That's a direct quote from my good friend Scott Schumacher at Blinn College. To the student athletes here tonight, follow that dream and never stop. I am incredibly thankful to maintain strong connections with most of my former players, several of which are still playing overseas, and one special one that played in the NBA and another that plays with the Harlem Globetrotters. You are blessed, and we are blessed for what junior college basketball does and is. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity that provides opportunities. I'm going to keep fighting for all of you to keep getting those opportunities. I'm going to keep kicking and screaming with all those amazing guys I mentioned earlier to keep us on the map and doing whatever is needed to provide all of you with a chance to follow your dreams. God bless you all, and God bless junior college basketball. Thank you very much.
I'm good. What a great night to see, again, just all the great players and coaches and friends come back together again after a couple years off, and I'm just so excited and thankful for this opportunity again to see everybody. A couple quick announcements again for players and chaperones. We're going to need you back over here before you leave. We've got your players, we've got your bags of good stuff, and chaperones, we've got stuff for you, I believe, as well. Hall of Fame coaches, I need Coach Stone, Jeffers, and Mcgraw. We also have your stuff back there as well. You've not received that. So please stop by before you leave. Coach, are we all good?
Make sure that the Hall of Fame coaches will introduce them at halftime of the All-Star game.
Right, so tomorrow, halftime of the All-Star game, we'll introduce you and you'll receive your ball and your plaque. Again, players, remember your times, 3:30 for game time, right? 11:30 D1s, 12:15 for 2s and 3s. With that said, again, thank you for attending. It's been another great night, and I look forward to continuing to, again, as Chris said, fight the good fight for junior college basketball players, coaches, and everybody involved. Again, thank you very much. Have a great night.